How's it going, guys? I'm Blake Holland with OIT, and this is another session of Prompt Point. Me and Monica Cruz will be going through some really cool ways to optimize your prompts. We're going to be, well, it looks like a lot of people have already filled in. We're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to start out with just an overview of our AIs that we offer here. We have CometAI, and we also have our Copilot chat. A lot of people are familiar with Copilot chat. I feel like more and more people are using CometAI each day. We may not be using it in this session because it is going through some maintenance on the back end. So we were concerned that we may have some issues. Just to let you know, we do recommend trying out CometAI whenever you get a chance. If you haven't already, it's fantastic. You can go in and choose all sorts of different algorithms to use and actually optimize the way that you like to work. So you can even build assistants and everything inside of it to help you with your daily workflow. So to get started here, what we're going to be going over is prompting for different content types. And what I mean by different content types is kind of dependent on the situation and what your need is. So there could be different content types like making a PowerPoint. There can be different content types such as making a whole lecture on something. So it just kind of depends what you're going for. And what we're doing today is going to be going over a few different examples. I'm going to be going through demos as well on some of these. Some of these I'm just going to kind of show you the standard answer that it's going to give you, because some of them are just a little bit more about learning what to actually put into place. So before we get started into everything, I wanted to go over the prompt formula. Again, I know this is something we always go over in these meetings. Can I get a raise of hands at all if you guys have been to the prompt points before or any type of AI meeting? Yeah. Okay, there's some hands coming up. All right, there's a lot of hands. That's good. That's great. So this won't be very new for you guys. So the goal, context, source, expectations. This is kind of what we like to talk about as our perfect prompt formula. If you give it each and every single one of these, you can get the expected return. So this is key to using AI really just universally. Not just for Copilot. This is something that Microsoft talks about a lot. This is something that even if you use stuff like Claude, if you use stuff like even ChatGPT, everything, it all comes back to this type of formula. So, all right. So we're going to work on something very simple because I wanted to talk a little bit about the goal, source, expectations, the formula altogether, and this is just a pretty simple one to do it on. Audience identification. So basically who we're talking to in this email prompt strategy, clear goal definition, tone specification, which Monica is going to go over quite a bit later. There's a lot more depth to tone specification. I just wanted to kind of mention it here because it does matter in the case of an email. And constraints and completeness. So what all of these things allow you to do are they allow you to build an effective email prompt. So we're going to go over just a quick email prompt that we built here. You can almost copy and paste this for a lot of different things. But what we used it for here in our example is you're a faculty member in a tier 1 research university, draft a concise professional email to a PhD student who has missed 2 thesis chapter deadlines. Oh no. Acknowledge the delay, restate the expectations, offer support options, and propose a specific revised timeline. Keep it under 100 words. So this is a good way to kind of push the AI to get what exactly you want. So you're a faculty member is the context, right? That's a good context right here. And there is the at a tier 1 research university. So it kind of knows how to type a little bit about what the environment will look like. Draft a concise professional email. So you're giving it expectations. It needs to be concise and professional to a PhD student who missed 2 thesis chapter deadlines. Here's a lot of different contexts too. Our goal is obviously the email, right? our goal is obviously the email, draft a concise professional email. That is the goal. The source is kind of tricky on this one. So the source can be kind of the same as the context, because the context and the source can overlap. But a lot of cases they don't, which is why we keep source and context separated for the formula. Acknowledge the delay, restate expectations, offer support options, and propose a specific revised timeline. Keep it under 100 words. All of those are expectation. So all of that comes under the expectation on what we're trying to accomplish and what it needs to kind of look like. All right, and here's what it spat out. This is just what I copied from Copilot. And the great part about Copilot, and this is something we're going to get into a little bit later, you can edit the response, which is fantastic. But this kind of gives you a basic outline of what this looks like. Now, a lot of people will kind of say, hey, I just typed out about as much of this as I did in the prompt. But the good thing about the prompt is you can kind of just give it a command. You know what you want already, so you don't really have to think about how do I word that, right? So what you've done here is you've saved a lot of time that you could be using to build a list to other students that might be missing these specific chapter deadlines. So what you can do is you can focus on building that list while ChatGPT Copilot builds something like this. So chapter X by specific date with chapter Y following specific date. So all you got to do is enter your actual values in there. So let's discuss what's impeding your progress. I can connect with you with writing support, advise on workload management, or adjust our meeting schedule. Please stop by my office this week or email available times. So what all this does is it allows it to fulfill the expectation that we're trying to assist this student, because that's kind of what we've given in an overall way in the actual prompt. And it's kind of spat out that same exact thing. So your success matters. Let's work together to get back on track. Best regards, your name. That's almost a complete email. You can add or subtract whatever you want, but it's done the work for you to word it correctly. You can even change it after the fact. You can even change it after the fact to sound more cheery instead of professional. You can have it sound more firm if this has happened before, right? You got to get a little firm with these guys sometimes. So what this has done is it's allowed your mind to focus on other tasks, which is very, very nice. This is a great use of AI, and this is what we're going for, right? Structuring instructional prompts. What this is going to do is specify a course level, set academic context, establish logistical constraints, and incorporate instructional components. What all of this is going to do is create kind of a lecture, sometimes even multiple lectures. So what we're going to do here with this demo is I'm going to show you the full capabilities of AI in the faculty realm. So I'm going to show you a quick example of what a solid prompt is for something like this. You're an instructor teaching a 300 level course in economics at a large research university. These are just things that I put in here to see how we can give the best example. Design a 75-minute seminar session on behavioral economics and policy nudges that includes pre-class reading, 10-minute opening activity, 2 discussion questions that promote critical thinking, and brief closing reflections, prompts suitable for LMS. So we're going to go ahead and pull this up here, and we're going to start a new chat. This is Copilot. If any of you are unfamiliar with this, you can go to office.com. This is going to be pretty much the first thing that you see, and you can start using Copilot immediately. So we're going to go ahead and copy and paste into here. All right, instructor teaching. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that's the right one. We're going to go ahead and see what it comes up with. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to build us a 75-minute seminar, which is great. So this is kind of what we're expecting here. All right. So you notice it comes up with some pre-class readings. That was the first thing that I put into the expectations, pre-class readings, right? So it starts that out automatically. Gives you a couple different books looks like. Cool. Optional. That's great. It's going even above and beyond. So here we go. All right, now we're going to get to the in-class schedule. All right, so opening activity, 10 minutes, and you can go into a scenario. It looks like it's going to work through that. It's going to give you a student task, and then you're going to talk about debrief. And then it goes into the next 15 minutes, the mini lecture and framing. Small group discussion right here for 20 minutes. It's not very small to me, but that's what it came up with. So I bet it's a pretty solid one. So yeah, as you can see, it kind of builds on it builds a framework in a way. So it builds a framework for a good 75-minute lecture based on ones that it already knows about. And it allows you to kind of edit it from there. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of the human aspect that still is all over like our education system. It's just building the framework and then editing it out from there. The way I see it is instead of building from nothing, you're able to build from a structure already set. So I think that in a way improves quality overall. That way everyone has this structure that they can build from, and you can just kind of do whatever you need from there. You can change whatever style you want. And that way you've saved yourself some time and also improved the quality of what you're doing. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on a summary. So this is just a good thing to give in kind of like a debrief. If you ever need to do a debrief on a situation, such as like a good example would be for our major incidents that we have. We have a lot of major incidents that we handle each week. And the way that we do that is concise summaries about things. We could even use this. So you define the target audience, choose output format, emphasize key areas, and set constraints. And this is the prompt that we came up with. So summarize the following journal article abstracts for a non-specialized specialist university administrator in 3 to 4 bullet points, emphasizing impact, potential applications, and required resources. I gave like a quick little PDF right here. I'm just going to kind of show you guys what to kind of do with this. You could do this in a couple of different ways. So we're going to bring up a new chat right here. Okay. I always want to bring up a new chat. That's just the way I do things. So you can actually just paste the actual link in there into Copilot. Sometimes these links aren't readable for some reason. Sometimes they're behind a paywall. Sometimes they're behind something else. So what you can do is instead of putting this here, you can add, you see this little button, add content and agents. You can do upload images and files. We're going to upload this guy right here. This is the downloaded PDF. I downloaded this beforehand. I didn't want it to be kind of, variable on how long it was going to take to download. But I downloaded the PDF that I was linking it to. So what I've done here is I've already downloaded the PDF. That way I know it's going to be able to look over the whole document. And we're just going to hit go. So it's going to summarize this real quick. And it's going to summarize it for, like it says, non-specialist university administrator that may not know about the specific thing that it's talking about, right? So it gives that audience. And yeah, as you can see, it shows impacts, potential applications, governance risk and risk considerations, and required resources. This kind of shows you a little bit about what it was talking about without being overbearing. So what this does is just kind of shows you how AI has an impact on the environment, and it gives it at like a basic level instead of, at the amount of detail that the actual article has. So that way you get all the stuff that you would need to know as specific as the university administrator. So it's a really good way to read something, educate yourself on something without having to take your whole day to go over this massive article. All right, so the next one is going to be enhancing engagement through creative prompts. Role and persona assignments. So we definitely want to make sure that it's to the right place. Tone and style settings. Again, Monica's going to go over that a little bit more later. Constraints for focus and engagement through storytelling. So this is a great way to kind of explain something to yourself or to someone else. It's a good way to reword something, like say, we'll just get to the example. Rewrite this technical paragraph about data encryption. Data encryption is kind of a tough thing to wrap your head around if you're not familiar with how it works. So as a clear, engaging explanation for a first-year undergraduate using one concrete example and no more than 2 technical terms. You see right there, we got a whole bunch of context, we got a whole bunch of expectations, and the source is going to be the data that I give it into the text. So data encryption uses cryptographic algorithms to transform plain text into ciphertext, ensuring confidentiality during data transmission and storage. Symmetric and asymmetric encryption rely on keys to control access, preventing unauthorized entities from interpreting sensitive information, even if data is intercepted. I got tired reading that. I don't know about you guys. I didn't retain any of that. Let's see what the prompt gives us back, right? So the prompt is telling us, hey, give this to a little bit lower, a little bit lower of a demographic, right? So we're going to go ahead and rewrite it. So this is the rewritten version. Data encryption is a way of locking information so only the right people can read it. Imagine sending a diary to a friend using a lock that only the 2 of you have a key for. Anyone else who grabs the package would see just gibberish. Encryption works the same way. It protects your information while it's being sent and stored, scrambling it with a key so only approved users can unlock it. This is a great way to be able to explain something to students, to someone that a new hire that has minimal experience in a certain field, any different situation like that. Maybe even something for me like trying to explain this to someone else. All right, so we're going to go to our next section, which is going to be role-based prompting. Now, what this is, it's going to be pretty simple. A lot of you guys probably utilize this already, if you're here, especially, and if you've been here already. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about different roles that it can impact and how it can impact it with a good example on each. So educator, instructional content creation, differentiated instruction, assessment, and engagement. So what these are going to kind of go into, it's going to help you connect with your students in ways, and it will also help you gain some content quickly. That way you can focus on all the different content that you want to create. So you are a principal investigator at a tier 1 research institution management lab of 6 PhD students and 2 postdocs. Draft 1-page lab policy, communication expectations, email messaging platforms, meeting cadence that balances autonomy with accountability. That's a pretty impressive prompt. Can't say I thought about that. That was something that I pulled online. So what this is basically just trying to send out a document of a good chunk of information to a few different students. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring this back up. I'm going to bring up Copilot. I'm going to be a good AI user and choose a new chat. All right, and we're going to paste this in. And what it's going to spit out is a lot of information and with a lot of different things to kind of put in place. Here we go. All right, yeah, here we go. Core expectations already, communication channel norms. This is great. So it's giving you an outline. Again, it's giving you framework to be able to input whatever you need to input. Obviously, it seems like it's kind of making some things up, but that's okay. You can always just input your own information there. That's why the human aspect is so important, because we do have to proofread every single little thing, right? You got to make sure that your prompts are giving you the right information. So a good way to actually manage this information, you don't even have to go anywhere else to edit it. Okay. I'm sure a lot of you guys already know about this, but this is called Pages. It's called Edit in Pages, right? This little button right here with the pencil. Click Edit in Pages. It pulls it up for you in a very easy to read and edit format that we're all pretty familiar with. It looks pretty similar to OneNote or Loop. That's what kind of Pages is designed like. And you can go in here and you can make changes. Like say, I don't want them to know that, right? I don't want them to know this. Like that's not something that I need to include in this, right? We can even just delete an entire section right here. Like, hey, maybe that's a little bit overkill. We just edited all of this in Pages, and you can copy this and paste it to an email. So I just hit Control A, copy, and you can paste it into an email and send it out to whoever you need to, which is great. So we've just saved a ton of time writing a massive, massive document with just this little amount right here. All right, and now a quick one for the administrator. Clear and professional communication, efficient workflow support, decision support tool, and consistent institutional standards. So these are all what is important for this role, right? This is kind of what we're directing it to. You're a department administrator in a large research university. So what I just showed you on the last slide is all in that first sentence. You're a department administrator, and it kind of knows by that, and the AI knows, okay, this is what they're focused on. Create a step-by-step email and a FAQ for faculty explaining the new internal grant submission workflow, including key deadlines, required documents, and who to contact with questions, right? All right, let's copy and paste this guy into there. I'm going to bring this up. I almost forgot to. We're going to go ahead and bring this up. I'm going to close out of the pages that we had open up a new chat. As you can see, how quickly was that? I'm going to paste this in here, and it's going to get to work. And in the meantime, I could take a sip of my tea. Not doing any more work than what I did up here. All right, so it creates an email. It even gives you a subject, which is great. Dear faculty colleagues, so improve the consistency. Okay, cool. Yeah, you basically just got to go through. You got to read it. You got to make sure everything's okay. See right here, it's giving you kind of like a guideline right there, which is kind of funny. Like I feel like it's kind of making this up, but that's okay. That's all right. It puts it in the little brackets right there. That's how you know where you have to kind of add in your information. And then a requirement document checklist. Perfect. That's kind of what we wanted. I'm going to go through one more demo, and then we're going to hand it off to Monica, who's going to go over a bunch of other really cool stuff, such as tone and productivity. All right, so the next one is going to be student support. So like an advisor of sorts, empathy and clarity, academic and procedural support, motivation and confidence building, and holistic student support. So by telling it, I work in student support, you're kind of telling it all of this. That's what you're telling it. I actually pulled a lot of this, like what does student support mean? This is exactly what it spat out. So it kind of knows what that type of position needs. All right, you're an academics advisor working with first-generation college students, draft talking points for a 30-minute advising appointment with a student on academic probation, focusing on support resources, realistic planning, and preserving the student's sense of agency. All right, we're going to pull this up one more time. New chat. Copy and paste. And the greatest part about these prompts, and it's something I haven't mentioned here, but we did mention, I believe, in the prompt point session 1, is you can use AI to build your prompts. It is the most simple thing. It is so nice that you can use AI to use AI. It's incredible. So as you can see right here, 0 to 5 minutes. So what we're doing is academic advisor working on first generation college students, talking points for a 30-minute advising appointment, right? So it gives you a quick little advising appointment, kind of what to go over. It gives you an agenda of sorts. So it gives you student story, sense making for about 5 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, clarity, academic. As you can see, that's giving you pretty much a framework that you can handle. You can add in your own, add or delete whatever you want from this. You can add in your own sections depending on your own department's needs or focuses. It's pretty impressive what you can get done with just a little bit of AI use. So you can get a quick, concise prompt. You can save yourself a ton of time. And the best part about prompting is that it is in standard human language, right? So you can just talk to it. It's great. So yeah, so that's it for the student support. But what we're going to go to now is we're going to go to Monica. She is going to talk to you about using tone, format, and audience cues and prompts. And I'm going to stop sharing, and I think she will pick it up from here.
All right. Well, hi, I'm Monica Cruz. I'm a IT support specialist too from Emerging Technology. And let's talk about prompts with tone, format, and audience cues. Let me go next slide. One of the fastest ways to improve AI responses is to be explicit with how you want the information to be delivered. Tone, format, and audience cues behaves more like guardrails and helps to shape how AI responds to match your intent, content, and communication needs. And later on, I'm going to ask Copilot 3 separate questions, and we'll see in real time how tone, format, and audience cues change the output. So tone cues. Tone cues help guide how AI communicates, not what it says. When you provide clear and direct tone guidance, you're shaping how others feel when they receive that information. A common pattern for tone cues is to state your goal, then specify the tone, what to avoid, and what must stay the same. And in this example, this is actually a really good example of positive tone cues and negative tone cues, in which I'm referring to being empathetic and reassuring is a positive tone cue, and avoiding blame and to avoid acronyms is a negative tone cue. This guidance will help show how AI uses voice and clarity. And to remember, tone helps instruct AI to rewrite the message without altering required content. So let me see if I can bring up my screen. Fantastic. So what I will do, I am also going to be using an email that was sent out, I think last week, when we were all bundled up at home because there was a inclement weather update. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask CometAI, Copilot, if it will rewrite this to basically make it geared towards students so that the tone is empathetic and reassuring, it's in plain English, and avoid blame and technical acronyms. And to basically keep the 3 action steps and ETA, and keep it at a very easy grade 8 reading level. So I'm going to just do another enter and then paste the email down in here. So basically I just copy the text and put it in there. And let's see what Copilot says. All right. Awesome. All right, so it has rewritten this email so that it's more targeted towards students with so that it's easier for them to read, or just basically that touches base with them. So it says, we know winter weather can be stressful. We want you to feel prepared and supported. We're here to keeping a close eye on the weather forecast for this weekend. We'll let you know if we need to pause on-campus classes or activities. So it did change a little bit of it, but basically the overall message remains the same. Right? Here. Right, next one, for formatting cues. When you want to tell AI what the output should look like and how it should be structured, AI will follow it precisely. This is called a format cue. Formatting cues are great for things like slide decks, templates, or any repeatable work. So in this example, I am asking Copilot to basically create a slide deck outline based on our mascot TMOC. And I have basically outlined the 4 slides that I want to include, which is what is TMOC, a brief history about TMOC, campus spirit, and where can you meet TMOC. And I wanted it to have a length of 3 bullet points per slide and to also provide speaker notes on each slide. So what I will do, go ahead and come back over here, and let's see if we can do this live. That right there. Awesome. I'm going to press go. Let's see what it comes with or comes up with. Fantastic. So I can now use these bullet points to create a slide deck in PowerPoint, which is awesome, and also use all these little speaker notes underneath it. Fantastic. Right. And if there are no questions, we'll just move on to the next one. All right. All right, so audience cues. Audience cues help tailor prompts for a specific group of people. You can specify their role, seniority, or level of expertise, along with what they care about and what should be avoided. By defining the audience and reading level, you can reassure the message includes only what the audience needs, no more, no less. What helps reduce this also helps reduce confusion and cognitive overload. Strong prompts makes AI understand your audience. Match your tone, stick to your requirements, and avoid things you do not want. So in this example, I have asked, I'm going to ask Copilot to create an emailer that and act as their advisor. And basically give the students a task to do before Friday with a 3-item checklist, and then provide knowledge article links as guidance. The audience is basically newly enrolled undergraduate students who are unfamiliar with Duo multi-factor authentication here at UT Dallas. Reading level is a grade 8. Things to avoid, authentication through text or phone calls, because we don't do that anymore, unfortunately. And to refer to the OIT service desk instead of the IT help desk. And then I provided a link, 3 links for getting people started with Duo authentication. All right, so let's go ahead and put this into Copilot. So fun. So I'm just going to copy and paste everything that's in that slide. Paste it right here. So I just did an enter just underneath it to basically differentiate the 2 prompts, like basically the prompt up here and the other information down below. All right. All right, subject line, actions needed, set up Duo before Friday. So it's actually given me a good little email to send out to my pretend students that I have. And it gives them a walkthrough on how to enroll in Duo, along with its links to the knowledge article so that they can get, so they can walk them through how to get Duo Mobile set up on their phone and enroll in Duo. Fantastic. Looks great. All right, so basically I can just copy and paste that into an email and I'll be all ready to go for our new students. Fantastic. All right. And with that, we'll go ahead and continue on. Any questions so far before I go on to the next one? Oh, okay. Our next one will be prompting for productivity for calendars, meetings, meeting notes, and tasks lists. So you can use productivity prompts in Copilot or CometAI on small but frequent tasks that can quickly consume a lot of time and energy. Productivity prompts helps turn existing information into organized results that you can immediately use. So let's see if we can, let's look for a few examples of how simple prompts can transform everyday information into something useful. So just to give you an idea, for the following prompts in my in the examples I'll be using, we'll be going with this style format, in which it is helpful to give AI structure to follow for productivity prompts and give it a goal to achieve, context for AI to follow, a source of information, and to set expectations. This helps ensure AI understands what you want to achieve, the role or situation you're in, where the information comes from, and what the final output should look like. So for creating a calendar or calendar stuff, I know AI works best when you provide a clear role and goal, especially when AI can organize your data and provide into a realistic weekly schedule with business hours, balancing teaching prep and lab supervision, writing time and service. Okay, so let's see what that would look like in a prompt. All right, so let's pretend that I'm a faculty member and I need to organize all my commitments like grants, manuscripts, and teaching, just to name a few. So in this prompt, I am basically asking Copilot to organize everything into a weekly schedule for the next 4 weeks during business hours to provide balancing teaching prep, lab supervision, writing time, and service, and to suggest time blocks and label them with clear calendar-ready titles. And for this, just like any cooking shows that y'all have seen on TV, I have gone through and created some files on here. So basically, this is just a dummy commitments list that I have made up. So basically, it goes into a lot of the different things that a faculty member would need. And so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put this into Copilot. And so get the prompt real quick. And then I'm going to add this document right here under my dummy data. And this is faculty commitments. And, oh, it's already been used. Okay, well, we'll just close and open it again. Cool beans. All right, let's see what Copilot says.
Hey, Monica, not to come in from like the ether, but we do have a question in the chat. Is there a way to add this information into Outlook Calendar? Or an easy way to do so?
That's a good question. I think you could possibly do this through Copilot that's actually in Outlook, to be honest with you. As that is.
Monica, just to build on that too, for users that don't have M365 Copilot or maybe don't have that access, another thing they could do is you could have it generate different ICP request as well from here and be able to import it then into your calendar if you wanted to. Although I don't know that I could handle this calendar on top of my calendar.
I know.
So much
it's a lot of
wonderful
work.
information. I love it.
Well, Amanda, never become a faculty member. I think that's what we're figuring out. It's too hard.
Mental note. Yeah, this is a lot.
Our faculty members do so much. I don't know how you'll handle it.
Okay, look, it is actually giving us the option to export it as an ICS, which will give us the opportunity to export it to a calendar. But one thing that I would love to do that is actually quite fascinating is that I want to make a visual weekly planner for these commitments. So this is like an extra little thing that you can do. It'll actually give you like a little time block so that you can actually print this out and put that, give yourself a little daily time chart for you to accomplish different things for. So very, very cool. All right, any questions on this so far? Well, let's go on to the next one. All right, so academic meeting notes. I know we've all been there before. We've had long back-to-back meetings, and it's hard to remember which items in the meeting may be relevant to us. So summarizing your meeting notes will help save time, gather action items, and create short blurbs for others. So in this prompt, I am asking it to basically summarize my meeting notes for 3 different audience types. I'm asking it to create 5 bullet points for faculty, a brief note for staff for their action items and relevant things that are relevant to them, and a 2-sentence update suitable for a newsletter. So, and I'm also giving it a dummy meeting notes, like a file on here. So to give you an idea what that would look like, I have my little meeting notes out to the side. So some of the things that you would need to know on here that would be very important is just to know like biology notes and stuff like that. You have all your different notes that you might take with like a general meeting and stuff like that. Okay, so let me go grab the prompt and put it right here. Awesome. I'm going to close this out so that I can then upload it. Perfect. Where are my meeting notes? There we go. All right, that looks like it's all happy hunky-dory. And let's see what Copilot says. All right, so it's giving me 5 bullet points for faculty members. I can just copy that and put it into an email or like a little loop for them. It's giving me a brief note for staff. Basically, if I'm in a department, I can get this out to my staff for freezer inventory updates. Awesome, it's well needed, but hey. And there's also a 2-sentence newsletter update that can go out to the general public. It's awesome. So this basically helps create it helps break down anything that's in my notes so that I can then concentrate on those for my faculty bullet points, especially if I'm faculty, and then give everyone else a heads up of what's going on. All right, so come on now. All righty, any questions on that so far? All right, so let's go on to our project and grants task list. AI uses information to create a structured prioritized plan covering pre-award, post-award activities like IRB, data collection, and analysis and manuscripts. So let's say I have an upcoming project, an upcoming grant project that I want help organizing all of my pre-award and post-award activities, like IRB, data collection, and analysis, and manuscripts. I want to basically turn a narrative project description into actionable items. So the big thing that I have created off to the side, which is my little dummy prompt right here, is that whenever you are creating something like this, in the description of my project, which is this right here, I need to include the current status. This can be copied from like a Word document, proposed draft, or a progress report, or any other notes that I have. This is important because it includes information about what the project is about, what it already has been accomplished, what's still pending, who's on the team, and any deadlines or goals. And then AI will use all of this information to build a structured plan. And so basically I've given all that information out in this little grant project right here. So I have created a prompt that basically targets my grant project, and will turn this into a prioritized task list with deadlines for the next 3 months, grouped with categories of like administrative data collection, analysis, and dissemination, and to include time per task. So let's go ahead and go back over here to Copilot. I'm going to then close out this document and then copy my task, my prompt over here, upload the file right here. Awesome. There's that. And it's basing anything that's pulling off of here off of my dummy grant proposal. So it's given me a few things to do today, some milestones here in the future in April, some executive use for critical path, prioritized task lists with deadlines, and then it's going into the administrative stuff. Very cool. So basically PO, I think it is using that for priority, like top priority. P1 is right under top priority. So it's very important, but not top priority. And then it goes into data collection and readiness. Fantastic. It gives me deadlines and everything that I need to accomplish, which is awesome. And here is the analysis side and hopefully our dissemination and things to do after lunch, which is fantastic. And I love how it asks for some other questions that it asks you to basically tighten things up in here. So you can actually provide the answers to that here in chat, and it will basically tighten up everything else above it, which is awesome.
That is it for today. We really appreciate you guys being a part of this. And we will see you guys later.